In the dim light of a new day, as the weak rays of sunlight penetrated the thick clouds of the sky, I suddenly felt a strange change, a sacred call from the depths of the universe. From those very first moments, my mind was shaken by signals not only from the physical world, with geopolitical events, violent storms of nature and waves of information flooding social media, but also from a mystical depth, from the transformation of Gaia, Mother Earth that we affectionately call. My journey began in a time of chaos and uncertainty, when events out there no longer seemed to follow the old rules. I vividly remember the confusing images of conflicts, fierce wars, and contradictory media campaigns. Every day, people were caught up in a constant stream of information, stories of epidemics, natural disasters, and even prophecies of an impending apocalypse. But in fact, amidst the debris of chaos, I gradually realized something miraculous. It was not just the collapse of old structures, but the signal of a powerful transition, a rebirth of the universe that was gradually being carved out by electromagnetic storms and changes in energy fields. I began a journey to understand not only the nature of external changes, but also the deep self inside each person. During the long nights, when everything around me was immersed in an atmosphere of silence, I sat alone under the moonlight, listening to the gentle breathing of the earth and wondering, are we living in an era of the end, or the beginning of something new? The answer, in my opinion, cannot be simply end or beginning. It is a continuous flow, a process of transformation that each individual must go through, from birth until returning to the original source of the universe. Those thoughts led me to the concept of Gaia, the image of the earth personified as a living entity with emotions, a self-healing process, and always in a state of constant movement. I remember wandering through cool forests, standing in front of the vast ocean and feeling the breath of Mother Earth. It was not only a feeling of peace, but also a deep awareness that natural disasters, storms, floods, or earthquakes, all are ways for Gaia to self-regulate, to remove negative energy tumors in her heart, to prepare for a new operating system, a higher state of existence. I seemed to hear the quiet voice of nature saying, "Take these storms as a cleansing balm, for after the rain, the sky will be clear again." On my journey to explore Gaia's transformation, I have increasingly touched the depths of spirituality, where sensitive people, or as some call them channels, have the ability to communicate with metaphysical entities, the souls of distant planets. I have had vague moments when the image of a gentle aura appears before my eyes, as if a coded message is sent through the electromagnetic waves of the universe. These are strange moments that I cannot explain with traditional scientific reasoning, but they make my heart flutter, as if the universe is giving me a precious secret. Human beings are never alone in this evolutionary journey. It was at that moment that I began to realize that, although the physical world was immersed in turmoil, within each of us there was always a source of radiant light. It was not simply the energy of the body or the brain, but also the soul of the connection with the vast universe. I believe that each of us, if we know how to listen to that call, will find the path to freedom of will, overcome psychological storms, and manifest the profound truths of life. This planet, according to my experiences, is gradually transforming from the classic 3D state to a new form of existence minus 4D, where its vibrational frequency increases, creating a different living environment. Events such as magnetic reversals, electromagnetic fluctuations, or light storms that we sometimes feel are not only natural phenomena, but also signals of Gaia's upgrade process. I remember that every time I came into contact with numbers and theories about vibrational frequencies, I felt a resonance with my heart. The universe is constantly evolving, and so are we. Each transition of Gaia also means a complete cleansing, where souls who are not compatible with the new frequency are forced to choose to leave the physical body. Death during this transition is not to be understood in a pessimistic sense, but rather as a milestone marking the beginning of a new chapter, where those who have completed their lessons will be transferred to guide souls who are still lost in their journey of life. I often tell myself that these leaving moments are the doors that open to a bright future, where every experience, whether painful or sweet, contributes to enriching the overall picture of the universe. But it is not only the transition at the individual level, but also the great upheavals on a global level that are signs that humanity is facing a period of great change. I have witnessed, through statistics and word of mouth, how economic crises, political conflicts, or fierce wars affect the psychology of the community. Information spreads like a relentless storm, shaking the faith of millions of people, sometimes leading to confusion, fear, and even loss of faith in the future. But for me, those events are not only bitter lessons of history, but also opportunities for each of us to look back at ourselves, to learn and change ourselves. The world, to me, has always been likened to a multicolored painting with dark strokes of the past, but also radiant with bright colors of the future. Every time I walk on the path of discovery, I realize that difficult experiences are the medicine that helps us eliminate limitations, opening the door to creativity and love. I believe that when people know how to master their inner vibrations, they will become the creators of the future. People who do not let themselves be overwhelmed by external storms, but always proactively create light for themselves and for the whole community. On quiet evenings, I often sit by the window, looking at the starry sky, a heart filled with inspiration and faith. I wonder if you have ever felt the harmony of the universe, the feeling that each star, each planet has its own voice, sending profound messages about life. It is not just numbers, dry theories, but also an invitation from an endless source of light, the light of wisdom, of love, and of peace of mind. In that moment, I felt like I was immersed in the flow of time, where everything has meaning, contributing to creating a timeless existence. Perhaps what makes me feel truly at peace is not that we can predict the future, but the freedom to choose our own path. When faith, love, and sincerity become the guiding principle, no matter how many weak minds are swept away by storms, the light of awakening will never be extinguished. I realize that every small action, every positive thought is a brick that builds a brighter future. That does not depend on anyone's predictions or prophecies, but is entirely in our own hands, free souls who know how to love and share. On the journey of transformation, I have met and accompanied countless brave souls who are ready to open their hearts to receive everything, whether it is from unclear sources of information or teachings from spiritual channels. They are like small lanterns in the dark night, not revealing their light, but enough to guide those who are lost in the storm of information and chaos of modern life. These people, although coming from different cultures, although carrying different beliefs, have the same goal towards freedom, the development of the mind and of the soul. In my quiet moments of contemplation, I often ask myself, can we freely change the flow of our own lives? Or is our fate already written by the universe and the distant stars? The answer I found is not in a rigid law, but in the ability to change, in the power of will, and in the ability of each person to create miracles. When we have enough faith in ourselves, when we know how to listen to our inner voice, we will find the path to true peace and happiness, regardless of the storms surrounding us. Over the years, through many ups and downs and events, I have gradually realized that not only is Gaia undergoing a transformation process, but the human soul is also gradually breaking free from old constraints. The storms not only shake the outside world, but also help us become more deeply aware of the value of life, the power of love, and our own ability to heal. I believe that only when each of us knows how to proactively adjust our inner vibrations, listen to the call of our hearts and the universe, will our planet, as well as each soul, gradually be lit up by positive energy, by the light of hope and faith in a bright future. Finally, I want to share with you that the evolutionary journey is never a straight road, but always contains twists and turns, bumpy roads. But it is precisely that difficulty that creates strength, that helps us grow and gradually discover the true value of life. When you feel tired because of the storms of the times, remember that every rain has an end. Every dark night will soon give way to a bright dawn. Just believe that inside every heart there is always a small flame, strong enough to dispel all darkness, bright enough to guide an entire community in search of freedom and happiness. And so, under that starry sky, I invite all of you to step out of your comfort zone, together spreading the energy of love, the rays of enlightenment, and the faith that never fades. Let the call of the universe, of Gaia, of each individual become a great source of motivation to help us overcome all difficulties, to move towards a world where changes are no longer a fear, but become valuable lessons, an endless source of inspiration for the development of the mind. And so, the story goes that there was a time when people only knew how to live according to old patterns, believing that all fates were predetermined by immutable laws. But then, one day, when the atmosphere suddenly seemed to be filled with new vitality, when energy streams from the universe poured into every corner of the world, awakened souls began to find their own path. They realized that we are not slaves to fate, but people who have the ability to shape our own future, can create miracles from our own will and love. And so, the story of awakening began to be written, not only by distant prophecies or gloomy forecasts, but by each small but sincere action of each person in the community. I am proud to know that I am not alone on that path. Through each meeting, through each conversation, through the night under the moonlight, I was strengthened by my companions, those who were willing to share their beliefs, experiences, and difficulties. It was they who helped me realize that, no matter how fierce the storm outside, the light of love and understanding can always illuminate even the darkest corners of the soul. They, like skillful carpenters, slowly build a bridge connecting the past and the future, between the old and the new, a bridge of hope and belief in a better world. And finally, under the vast sky of the vast universe, I want to send you all a simple but profound message. Live with all your heart. Let love and creativity fly freely and never give up hope, because in every short moment of life, we can always find the meaning of existence, can always discover that each of us is a factor that creates the magical symphony of this universe. That is my story, a story about a journey of awakening, about a transformation process of Gaia and of each person, a journey that requires patience, faith, and many long nights of quiet contemplation. But I believe that each of us, when we dare to look deeply into the nature of life, will realize that, no matter how many storms we encounter, the world always waits for us with a warm embrace, with a light that never goes out. Let's write that story together, a story of transformation, of love, and of new beginnings, where each of us is a small light that contributes to lighting up the world. With an open mind and perceptive eyes, follow the call of the universe. Let every step you take be a mark of hope, of immortality. And in that moment, you will see that no matter how difficult or challenging things may be. The power of human beings, the power of wisdom, of compassion, and of the ability to change themselves is always an endless source of motivation to move forward. It is not just the story of today, but the endless journey of each soul. A journey towards the best things, where all pain, all loss are replaced by joy. Peace in the world filled with the light of love. That story, I believe, will continue to be written through each day, through each thought, each action of us. And even though the road ahead is full of thorns, sometimes deadlocked, with just a ray of hope, a sincere confession, everything will gradually blend into a beautiful symphony of life. Let's write that story with Lucid Dream Portal so that when we look back, each of us will see a magical journey that has contributed to making this world truly worth living and meaningful. And so, under the sparkling light of the stars, in the clear atmosphere of the dark night, I invite all of you to join the journey of awakening of life. A journey full of profound experiences, quiet moments listening to the call from the heart and from the vast universe. Let this story not only exist in my own memory, but let it spread, touch the hearts of everyone, to together create a new world, where light always wins over darkness, where love always calms all storms of life. And so, the story continues with endless possibilities, with sincere feelings, and with the eternal belief that the future of humanity is not only shaped by external events, but also by the endless power of the soul. And even though each of us goes on our own path, the light of awakening is always the common point that connects us all, guiding us to overcome all obstacles and welcome a new day full of hope, full of faith in the power of love and human creativity. Thus, the story of the journey of transformation and awakening of Gaia and of each person, which I have lived and felt, will forever be imprinted in my heart, an endless source of inspiration for those who dare to dream and dare to live according to their beliefs. Let's walk together, spread positive energy together, so that each passing day is a new chapter of this magical adventure, a story full of light, full of love and the desire to rise above all challenges. Together, let us turn every difficulty into a valuable lesson, every pain into a stepping stone for the growth of the mind and soul, and every moment of our lives into an eternal mark of love, wisdom, and hope. Because in the end, we are all important factors in this vast universe, people who are capable of creating miracles, with only our souls and willpower, with only the belief that, no matter how many storms, the path to light is always open waiting for each of us. And so, the story continues, the story of those who dare to dream, of those who dare to live fully as themselves, and of a world that always yearns for good things, always believes in the power of light and love. Come with me. Let's write a new chapter of that story together, so that every step we take will always be a testament to the magic of life in the vast universe, where everything can happen if we are brave enough to believe and act according to our hearts. With all these sincere thoughts and feelings, I conclude my storytelling journey tonight. But I hope that this story will remain in everyone's mind, a source of encouragement for us to overcome all challenges and dare to step into a new day full of hope, love, and light. Remember, each of us is a factor of life, a small light that contributes to brightening the night sky, and each of our actions, each of our thoughts can create miracles for a brighter future. That story, woven from the threads of personal experience, faith, and spirituality, is not only my own story, but also the universe's invitation to all of us. Let our soul soar, let each moment become a joyful song, and let the promise of this awakening echo forever, guiding us to the shores of a new world, a world of love, connection, and unfailing faith. Together with the light of the stars, together with the echoes of the universe, let us write that story together, a story of transformation and of an endless journey, a story that each of us contributes to, a great story of humanity.